Philippines, the wait is over! The gold is yours!
97 years. To put that into perspective, in 1924, we were still in the middle of the American colonial period. We would only gain our independence in 1946, more than 20 years after our first Olympics. 1924 was also the year the immortal Enrile was born. Yes, it took an entire Enrile's worth of time to get us the Olympic gold. But why?
Oh, we were robbed of the gold!
Let's get ready to rumble! I mean, it's not like we were lacking in the number of non-gold medals. During the opening ceremony of the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, the commentators said this.
Philippines who hold the dubious record of the most Olympic medals without a gold.
They were wrong. That distinction goes to Malaysia. They overtook the Philippines after winning 8 medals in the last 3 Olympics, while we only won 1. But now, we finally have a gold medal. So why did it take so long? Half of our pre-Hidilyn medals came from 1928 to 1936. To put things in perspective, only 46 countries competed in the 1928 Olympic Games, compared to the 205 countries in the 2020 Tokyo Games. To be fair, there are 3 times the amount of events now compared to before, but there are also 4 times as many athletes. Kinda like the 1954 FIBA World Basketball Championship. And to this day, that bronze medal is the highest we've ever reached in terms of international basketball success. But what people don't tell you is that back then, there were only 12 teams competing compared to 2019 when there were 32 teams competing. I don't know about you, but I think it's a lot easier to win when there's less competition. But even with all those hurdles, why didn't we get the gold sooner? You can blame our height as a factor in sports like basketball and volleyball, but what about the sports with weight classes? With a more even playing field, surely we could have won a gold medal sooner. And with an 8-division champion from the country, there's no denying that there are great athletes in the Philippines. We don't even need to look outside of boxing to see that. Aside from Pac-Man, we have boxing Hall of Famers like Flash Elorde and Pancho Villa to gloat about. So why don't we have a gold medal in boxing? We really should. In fact, we should have 2.
Tumatayo sa silya, we will run! We will run!
These were the words of the legendary announcer Smokin' Joe Cantada during the Tokyo Olympics in 1964. He stood angrily as he watched Anthony Villanueva of the Philippines lose to Stanislav Stefashkin of the Soviet Union. According to those who watched the fight, it was obvious that Villanueva should have gone home with the gold.
Dugo-dugo mukha nung si Stepatskin.
Yung Russia na kalaban niya, no, di ba?
And then 32 years later, in 1996, history repeated itself.
Oh, we were robbed of the gold! We were robbed of the gold!
According to the judges, the Bulgarian Petrov unanimously won the fight, with a score of 19-6. But anyone who watched the fight in 1996 will tell you that the result was complete bullshit. Especially after Onyok scored a big fat 0 in the first round, despite visibly dominating the fight.
Kaya titignan natin, ha? Hingal na hingal. Samantalang si Onyok, pag titignan nyo sa kabilang corner yan, sariwa, walang ka-tension ka. Diyan yung makikita, no? Ha?
Pukado yan, tao.
Anong tawag mo? Pukado?
And this wasn't an isolated incident. In the very same Olympics, Floyd Mayweather was also robbed a shot at the gold. The referee of the fight was so sure of the result that he actually raised Mayweather's hand despite the Bulgarian being declared the winner. The US team even filed a protest over the fight, claiming that judges were intimidated by the head of the boxing officials, a Bulgarian by the name
Emil Yechev.
In the official protest, US team manager said that Mayweather landed punches that were not counted, while Todorov was given points without landing a punch. Kinda similar to what Reka Trinidad said about Onyok's fight against Todorov's fellow Bulgarian.
Oo, yun. Ganyan, tamo 3-0 na, oh.
Ilan yung binitawan na nito?
Walang score.
After this crushing loss, the Philippines didn't come close to winning the gold for 20 years, until Hidilyn Diaz finished silver during the 2016 Rio Olympics. This time without much controversy, as Diaz surprised everyone, even surpassing her own goal of bagging a bronze medal. And in 2021, Hidilyn gave an entire country something to cheer about, as she delivered the Philippines its first ever gold medal. And as soon as she won, she received tons of congratulations and offers from sponsors, despite the fact that just 2 years earlier, she took to Instagram to ask for financial support in order to continue her training. What kind of country would deny financial support to an athlete who just won a silver medal, the country's first Olympic medal in 20 years? And not just that, Diaz was even included in the matrix of people who were allegedly involved in an oust Duterte plot. After winning the gold, she even listed the Matrix controversy as one of the challenges she had to overcome to achieve what no other Filipino had done before. And honestly, this is the biggest problem when it comes to Philippine sports. Don't get me wrong. It's very sad that we were robbed of 2 Olympic gold medals. But it's even sadder that there are athletes who are robbed of a chance to compete in the Olympics in the first place. It's honestly a miracle we even have athletes who make the Olympics. Isn't it crazy how Hidilyn Diaz finished 7th in the Olympics despite the Philippines having 0 world-class skate parks? I think that's proof that Filipinos have talent. And in the 20s and 30s, that might have been enough. That might be the reason why almost half our medals come from that era. But that's not the case today. We need to support our athletes as best as we can before they reach the Olympics, and we need to support them after. You already know about the lack of support for Hidilyn Diaz, but it was even worse for our other 2 silver medalists.
Sa kabila ng tagumpay sa Olympics, di pa rin nakaahon sa buhay si Villanueva dahil sa kawalan ng suporta ng gobyerno. Katunayan, noong 1999, sinubukan pa niyang ibenta ang napanalunang silver medal matapos ma-stroke.
Onyok is a good friend. And I asked him, why are you an actor? How old are you? You're only 21, 22. Why don't you go back to the next Olympics? And you know what he told me? Bakit pa ako magsasakripisyo ng 4 na taon? Yung pangako sa akin ng gobyerno, 50% lang ang binigay. Yung 50% wala. Tapos kung alam mo yung sakripisyo namin sa Cuba, yung training na dinanas namin na napakahirap, na napakasakit, na bugbugan, na napakagrabe, intense, para lang makalusot ako sa Olympics. Parang hindi ko na kayang ulitin yan. At magkano ang sweldo ng isang atleta? May 3 akong anak o 2 akong anak. Hindi ko sila mabubuhay sa ganyan sweldo. Mas malaking kita dito sa pag-aartista kaysa mag-training pa ulit ako sa Philippine team.
And I understand that we are a third world country. We're more than 11 trillion pesos in debt. So you can make the argument that we have other things to spend money on. But if we had 28 million pesos to spend on a useless Dolomite beach, then why do our sporting facilities look like this? It took 97 years, 2 foreign coaches, and lots of support from the private sector for Hidilyn Diaz to get us the gold. And if things don't change, then we might have to wait another 97 years for the next Filipino gold medal.
Philippines, the wait is over! The gold is yours!
Hoy mga Pinoy, ito na ang medisina, nagbabagong apoy, linagyan ng gasolina, kaya't tinatanong pa ba kung kanino at sino ang tiyak na puntahan sa kulturang Pilipino?